Good evening, Hobby World. Thanks for joining us tonight for episode 48 of Personal Rips and Hobby Chat. Joining me tonight, as always, is Ken from at Beans B Card Blog, and I'm Herman, aka 3B Collections. We're here on Monday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern. We are back. 8 p.m. Eastern to talk about our hobby and yours. Feel free to join into the conversation in chat. It is good to be back.
So it's been a while.
It's been a while. It's been a minute.
Anything going on with you?
Card wise, I am really just getting back into it the last week, maybe two. Had a few issues with COVID-19. Not myself personally, but I've had a couple of close friends that I lost, and it kind of hit me hard. It definitely put things in perspective. And, cards wasn't one of them. So I spent the last 2 or 3 weeks, a lot of time with family, and it finally hit a point to where it's like, I got to get out of this funk and get back into something that takes my mind off of it. And it's something I enjoy. And this is one of them, along with collecting cards. So time to move on.
Yeah, you got to get that sense. At some point, you have to get that sense of normalcy back to, kind of move on. So, yeah, we've been a little sparse, but every time you've said, hey, whatever, maybe we don't do a show this week. I've got something. As every time, this cards, it's just a hobby. It's not life. So, missing. I'm sure. I know a lot of guys, we get the same guys that join us in the, in the comments and listen to us live. And, I know you definitely get used to it because heck, I open my mornings with listening to Bo if he's done a show that morning, Shoebox Legends, Diego, and Brad. If those guys have them, those, a lot of mornings, those are my opens. I lose those anything else. You like to have that sense of normalcy. So, good to have you back. But all good. We need to take breaks sometimes. Life is life. Cards are just cards.
Yeah, I hate it because I got I kind of got behind on my YouTube watching and stuff during that time. Because like I said, I didn't do anything. Like my routine was just busted. I didn't. Usually, I'll listen to Bo on my way to not on my way to work, but once I get to work and leave to go to a job or whatever, I'm listening to Bo going down the road. And I wasn't feeling it. I didn't do it. I hate it. I did go back and catch a lot of them. And I hate that I missed the fact that he announced that he was going full time in cards. Which
that was something I did want to touch on and just, congratulate him. And hey, it's good for us because he said he's going to be going live every day now. So
right.
that little bit of normalcy is back. So love it.
Right. And we can kind of get back into that a little later too. And also I want to thank you and Dan for stepping in. I think 2 weeks ago and doing the episode here on Dan's channel, Korean Cardboard. I appreciate that. I did watch it. I didn't watch all of it live, but I did go back and watch it. And it was kind of strange hearing you talk about graded cards.
Yeah, but you know what? It's a little bit of an evolution in how I'm collecting and how I'm viewing things. Moving to more quality over quantity, so to speak. So, yeah, it was one of those things. It was a good discussion, and not ratings. It's nice to talk with someone who has been, and has a different point of view than you and I have. So that was pretty good as well. And I'm planning on trying to whatever I have to do, upload StreamYard and learn it. So, if you need to take a break now and then again, maybe we can. I want to keep it on your channel as much as possible, but maybe every once in a while, if we need to move it over to my channel or somebody else's channel, and get some other people in, I need to be out for a week. You can get somebody else in, and They can see somebody's ugly face other than mine.
Right. So,
I see what you did there, Diego.
So, all right. So Mickey says he has a question for everyone. I want to know. I posted in the chat, Mickey. We'll put it up. I mean, that's what we're here for. I want, especially tonight, we're going to do a lot of interacting with chat. So if you're watching, feel free. And I know that we have. I mean, we're up to like 14 views right now. That's a lot for us at live. And I know what everybody's here for, and we will get to it here shortly.
So let me set the tone for my attitude on the discussion we're going to have tonight. Telling Brad to go eat a big bag of dicks. His hating on college cards. Not my fault. Your school's North Texas. And they've had like 3 professional players ever.
Yeah. It's not Ken's fault that the two main colleges in Texas got knocked off by Arkansas.
Yeah, and then they got their balls kicked in by, was it you guys?
Yeah.
Okay. The perpetually overrated Arkansas Razorbacks. They could lose their entire roster, and the next year they're going to be ranked at around 20 to 25, just like Notre Dame and Texas A&M. But anyway, let's get off the college football talk.
No, yeah, Ken. I'm sorry, Rich. That's. I mean, for live views, that's pretty high for us. But I'll take it.
And tell Rich he can instigate me all he wants, but if he really wants to talk it out, we can talk it out.
All right, hold on a minute. I think Mickey posted his to see. I think this was his question. It says he dropped off a PWE today at the post office and was charged $475 to mail it because it had a top loader inside. What?
There's no reason that should have happened.
No, because a top loader inside is still flexible. It's still under an ounce, so it should just be a stamp.
I mean, to be honest, part of the problem is if you took it to the window, you're just I don't know, playing game. You're gambling, basically. To be honest, you should have just thrown a stamp on it, just bought a stamp, dropped it in. You'd have probably been fine. Because if they are going to say I can see where if the top loader, it's too rigid. Even a normal top loader, but if it's thicker, I could see where they'd say it's too rigid. One thing you could do is, like I said, just put a stamp on it and do it, but that's going to go through the machine. What I do when I send PWEs, and I'm not talking about eBay, just like I send a normal PWE, I put I have non-machinable stamps, and then I stamp it. I say, this is not machinable. And then also I tend to ship more often in semi-roots because they're, as Bo was saying on, I was listening to his show earlier, I think it was from Saturday or Sunday, they're not as rigid. So there's that. Yeah, I mean, it's tough. Yeah, Bo, just right there, never trust the clerks at the post office. I mean, they're barely more than minimum wage workers, let's be honest, and they don't care. Have you ever gone to the post office and someone been happy to be working there? I mean, let's just call a spade a spade.
They do not look like it. They look miserable.
Yeah.
But
yeah, so those would be my suggestions, is doing a bigger envelope. I do a bigger envelope typically. I will tape the card inside a team bag, tape it to a piece of thin cardboard like cereal box or something like that. Put it in the greeting card size envelope, and then put a non-machinable stamp on it. And it comes out to, I think the non-machinable stamps are like 85 cents or something like that.
Right.
For what it's worth, which isn't much, but that's what I would suggest. But I mean, a lot of people also will just send them in a normal envelope, a normal letter size envelope with, with the top.
I'm trying to do this real quick, but normally if I send PWE through like eBay, I'll take, and I know this is like I said, this is real quick. I take and put my card in the envelope, or I'm sorry, in the top loader. I take the I'll print off a a package slip or whatever from eBay, and I lay it inside the page, folded over just small enough to fit into the I don't even know what they're called. The smaller envelopes. Fold it around the top loader and put it inside of it, which to me would make it even less bendable, as he said. They told him, and I put a stamp on it, one first class stamp. I don't even put a non-machinable on it.
And that's just my preference, because ideally when you do that, they shouldn't go through the sorter, which is where most top loader errors happen. But let's be honest, that's still less than 1%.
Yeah. Let's see. Let me catch up here. Normally top loaders with one card inside. Stamp.
But yeah, I've been selling on eBay, and I tell you what, the standard envelope. I mean, every card I've sold has been with standard envelope, and I'm pretty sure that only one of those might I have been able to sell had I been doing $4 bubble mailer, and that was a Dak Prescott that was the $9 card. But they're not going to pay $9 and then pay $4 shipping. They're going to want to pay $6 and $4 shipping. So by doing the PWE standard envelope, I made more. Yeah, and I've sold I'm getting up probably close to double digits in sales. We had some talk about that, Dan. I'll let Herman fill you in on that.
Yeah, I have a way that I do the standard, the eBay standard PWE, which I talked to Brad about it, and I don't know if he started doing it or not, but he liked it, and I mean I haven't had a problem. I have had one case off of eBay where somebody claimed they did not get a card. I'm pretty sure they got it, but with the standard envelope with eBay, the tracking is not. It's not through USPS directly. It's some off the wall, and Bo knows more about it than anybody. But sometimes the stuff gets scanned, sometimes it doesn't. And I'm pretty positive this guy got his card, but because it wasn't scanned delivered, he waited until the 30-day mark to open a case of not receiving the card. No contact from him whatsoever. No, hey, where's my card? It's been 3 weeks. Nothing. Just waited until the 30th day and opened the case.
Yeah.
So, I just, I don't want to take the hit on eBay. So it was a $1.50 card. I give him his money back. He can have the card, whatever. Blocked him. I ain't got to deal with it no more.
And that's kind of the approach I take. I mean, if I'm going to have to eat one every once in a while, but I am buying to resell, I'm buying smart. I'm not buying something and trying to make $1 on it. So there's that, I'm doing okay with what I've paid, but a lot of what I'm selling is just trying to, again, move off excess, move into, take that money, put it into something that fits better into my collection. And if every once in a while I've got to eat a $5 one, I got to eat a $5 one. Again, it's still a better option it's really still a better option than selling anywhere else. I know that buyer, I am not buying $2 cards and paying $4 shipping.
No,
I'll happily buy a $2 card and pay $1 shipping, and I'll take my chance. And if it gets destroyed or it doesn't show up, I'll get my money back. I'm not a scammer as a buyer, so I don't have to think about any of that. It's just like if I don't get it, I get my money back. Speaking of, so for the guys that sell, we might eventually get into our topic tonight. So I've noticed a lot lately. So I've been getting some offers on my cards, and it'll be like a name, some letters, and then a dash, and then numbers. And this seems to be a recurring trend. Like they're not names like mine, where mine on there is Beans Ball Card Blog. Yours is 3B Collection. Bo is 1 million Cubs. These always are like like I said, letters. Sometimes they spell something, sometimes they don't. Then there's a dash, and then there's numbers. And these guys all tend to have very low feedback.
Mm-hmm.
And I just feel like these guys are complete scammers. And if they're going to make me an offer, I usually don't accept it. I'm going to at least make them, sorry about your luck. Sorry if I'm being, targeting people with low feedback. But at the same time, I'm not looking to get hosed, because the people with the low feedback are the ones that my wife just brought me dinner. How about that?
Nice.
But thanks, babe. But yeah, I was wondering if anybody else had noticed that, like this trend of like just lower, buyers with lower feedback kind of having usernames like that. Are they just letting eBay pick their username and that's what's happening, or anything like that? See, okay, so there we go. Their default usernames, eBay gives new users. Yeah, and because a lot of the ones I've seen, like JT post, this guy did this, or anybody say this guy filed a non. They tend to be in that same. They tend to seem to have that same type of username, and that's why I've been real. Like sometimes I don't even respond. One guy, he offered me $1 for a $10 card. Then he offered me $2, and he had that kind of idea. I just didn't even reply. I didn't I didn't counter offer. I didn't decline. I didn't do nothing. Screw that guy.
Right.
Appreciate your info, Bo.
Yep. All right, so let's see if I can get this thing going here. All right. Yep, here we go. So what everybody's here for tonight is the whole Fanatics takeover. Are you ready for this?
Let's rock and roll.
Let's do it. Everybody knows about it. Everybody's heard it. Everybody has seen it, and everybody has an opinion. And me and Ken also have our opinions. And before we start, we'll go ahead and say that this is our opinion. We can't be wrong on an opinion. But if you have one and you want to post it in the chat, please feel free. We'll comment on it. We'll talk about it. We'll discuss it. We'll do whatever we need to do. I want to start off by playing the interview with Michael Rubin on CNBC, 4 days ago?
Yeah, I think it was Thursday or Friday.
So we'll start off with it, and I'll play it in its entirety. And then we will get into our opinions and share your opinions. So without further ado, here we go.
Joining us right now with more on the collectibles ventures, Michael Rubin, CEO of Fanatics. Michael, this is like a master stroke of deal making and some rough stuff in the world of Topps baseball cards and the history of that. And somehow you got in there, struck a deal with the league, and then cut those Topps photos.
Pieces together to create a great collector's experience. It's really what we did in the merchandise category, in our Fanatics commerce business, but now doing this in trading cards.
So, Michael, help me with the $10 billion valuation. I know a lot of folks on Wall Street trying to figure out how to get to $10 billion. And I'll give you just a couple reference points. Topps, when it was going to go public, I think was being valued a little more than about $1 billion. Half of that valuation was assigned effectively to the candy gum business, Bazooka and the like. So half of that's the cards. Let's say $500 million valuation, maybe a little more. Obviously, that was one league. You add on the other leagues you have on top of that, and then Tell me about the next part. Is this the secondary market, the digital component, the NFTs that sort of become the multiplier?
Yeah, first and foremost, this will surprise you, but the traditional trading card manufacturers will make close to $1 billion in EBITDA this year on a combined basis. There are several companies that manufacture trading cards, Topps, Panini, Upper Deck. In aggregate, it's a highly profitable business. Again, close to $1 billion in EBITDA. That's all selling to distributors, who then sell to retailers, who then sell to resellers, who then put them on eBay, who then sell them to end collectors. So, look, these are very smart investors. They look to get at least 3 to 5 times return. And when you think about taking this model much more direct to consumer and then adding in, kind of an integrated collector experience of having, the primary card sold, secondary capabilities, with grading and breaking and insurance and storage and financing. This is a very massive opportunity. But I gave you one really important reference point, which is the existing manufacturers today make close to $1 billion sell to distributors.
This much power up. Empower your kid.
All right. I'm here. There's Herman. Here we go. Hey, that was good timing. I got a couple bites of dinner in there.
Right.
All right.
Dan said our sound was off. I hope that it was just because I muted my mic. I tried to I cut it back on as soon as he said something. But
I was thinking the same thing. That's probably what it was. Live and learn.
But I mean, everybody's seen it. We've all seen it. We have all heard it 1,000 times or more. I know I've watched it between watching it on CNBC and every other video that we've watched. I mean, we've all seen it. What? Rich says skip the conversation, the Fanatics conversation. What's Ken having for dinner? I mean, he
had
showed
some chicken nachos. We tend to do pretty quick days on Monday nights, just because of timing, So yeah, some nachos, with some chicken that I smoked months ago.
That's pretty funny because I'm about to have barbecue nachos when we get off here. So
very nice. I mean, technically, I would say these could be barbecue nachos because they definitely got some smoke flavor to them.
Okay.
All right.
We know how each other stand on Fanatics, but we don't know how all the viewers stand. And like I said, your opinion is your opinion, and my opinion is my opinion, and anybody watching's opinion is their opinion. We're not here to argue. We're not here to debate. Well, we can debate. But
we could debate, but I'm betting that almost everybody that is in this chat pretty much has our point of view.
Yeah, I feel the same way. And if not,
I think it's pretty unanimous. It's pretty unanimous based on which side of the hobby fence you're on.
Right.
But all right, so we each had some talking points.
I mean, do you want to start? You want me to start? You want to start with the polls? How you want to do this?
I'm figuring we can almost, touch the polls at the end, unless, as we're talking, maybe some of those things come up.
Okay.
So I'll go ahead and start. And you and I have had this conversation, and I'm guessing this is probably one of your notes. This sounds like nothing more than a hostile takeover. It absolutely is. They're coming in. Now, we heard weeks ago, and it was very vague what was going on, but a lot had speculated, and I listened to sports card radio, and love them or not, they pretty much called this all along. And when they say things and they make predictions, more times than not, those things come to fruition. And they basically said this is likely what they're going to do. Mm-hmm. There's no way to see it other than it being a hostile takeover. They want to cut out the middleman. They want to basically have every part. They want to touch every single part of what you do. So here are some of my notes. So first of all, if you thought league exclusives with Topps and Panini were bad, I'll hold your beer while you watch Fanatics and see what they do. You thought this was bad? What's going to happen when one company has the 3 biggest sports under their banner?
Mm-hmm.
You thought things weren't creative before? I'd like to say there's probably a pretty good chance it's going to get worse. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope I'm wrong. I hope they buy Topps and Panini or farm things out to them and they say, you guys need to stop doing the same damn. I hope I'm wrong on everything I say tonight. I truly do. Here's the thing. I'm not much of an ultra modern collector, but you and other guys in this chat and other guys and gals that I know through the hobby that are, this is going to affect you. It's not going to affect me a ton, but you guys are my friends and you guys are true collectors. And I have a feeling it's going to negatively affect the way that true collectors collect. So, they want to cut out the middlemen. Okay, distributors, I have no sympathy for those guys. They have been snake oil salesmen for a long time. Oh, sorry, I got to cut your allocation. And then all of a sudden, miraculously, 2 weeks later, more product shows up at double the price. Or, hey, if you want to continue to have your, get your whatever, you've got to buy all this garbage product that nobody wants to buy. Or look what happened with Brent Williams from Brent and Becca, who couldn't even get stuff anymore and basically is barely breaking. Even though he was one of their top customers, and I'm sure bought a bunch of that garbage stuff, and now he's basically out of the game. And that's because of distributors. It's almost like jobs. Quit your job because if you were to die tomorrow, they're going to have your job posted by the end of the day. And the distributors are the same way. So I have very little sympathy. Actually, I really don't have any sympathy for the distributors themselves. I do for, just the normal average Joe that works for them that's just doing a job, because a lot of jobs are going to be lost. Is this a war on card shops? If you're not going to go with that model and you're going to sell straight to consumer, what are hobby shops going to do if they're having to pay the same price as the consumer? Are we going to shut down? They're trying to kill your hobby shop.
Yeah.
Or maybe they're not trying to, but the unfortunate side effect is that it's going to kill a lot of card shops. Mm-hmm. The ones that are able to, adapt, hopefully they make it. But I do consider this a war on card shops. And again, all of this is based strictly on the information we have. Maybe they decide if you have an account with them, you're going to get all your cards as a shop at 25% off.
No.
I'm just saying, I'm only going based on the information we have now, and that's all I can do.
But if you'll listen, I want to get back. There's one comment that I want to get back to, and we'll get to that. But for what you just said, if you'll listen to that interview, Michael Rubin said himself that what I got it here, they want to limit who can sell their products.
No, I get that. I'm just basically pointing out that what I'm saying is based on what we know. I hope I'm wrong. I hope maybe they get enough, backlash that maybe they decide to change their mind, because it is potentially 5 years down the road. It's probably going to be sooner than that. But again, I want to point out that I'm only commenting based on what we know. And
right. They're not going to change their mind, because look at how they do memorabilia now. Look how they do the jersey sales. Mm-hmm. Nobody sells Fanatic jerseys except for Fanatic.
Oh, I'm on. It's going to be a little. It's going
to. That gets back to what they were saying, where he said that or where people, I can't remember if he said it or somebody speculating that prices will drop.
Well, yeah, and I've got that later on too. So yeah, we'll
look at Fanatics. Look at their prices on jerseys.
Mm-hmm. I know.
You can get basically the same jersey anywhere else for half the price.
Mm-hmm.
So what makes anybody think they're not going to do the same thing to cards?
I agree. And
And I know we're stepping all over each other's toes here. I know that.
No, and this is going to be a boring conversation in some ways because we think we think pretty much the same way, but at the same time, you may be thinking of things that I'm not and vice versa. And even though we're getting loud, we're obviously not going to be arguing with each other. But yeah, I definitely agree on, if you,
animated but not arguing.
If you think that the price on cards, unopened product, is going to come down, now maybe they knock, say, some stuff down 10, 15, but let's just say maybe they do. But if you think that these prices are going to significantly cut them down because they have cut out the middleman, I got some oceanfront property in Arizona that I'll sell you.
Right. And that's exactly what I thought, because listen to the interview, and his, like you said, he's wanting to cut out the middleman. He's wanting to control all aspects of the hobby, period. Mm-hmm. So what he's wanting to do is, in my opinion, where you can go to Walmart or Target last year and buy a blaster for $20 and see it on eBay for 40 or 60. Mm-hmm. Well, then he's just going to sell it for 40, 60. And
yeah,
granted, I know that a lot of the stuff was picked up by these, well, whatever you want to call them, the
vultures, bottom feeders,
pond
scum,
the
jagoffs,
the shoe guys,
sneaker dickheads,
snickerheads. That's it.
You forgot the dick in there.
The dickheads, whatever, snicker dickheads, and they were flipped on eBay, Twitter, wherever. But at the same time, there were a few collectors, true collectors, that picked those boxes up for $20. A few, not many, but a few.
But
now nobody's going to do it.
Mm-hmm. Because if you've already proven that in general people are willing to pay $40 for a blaster, why would you sell it for $20? I've been in corporate retail for most of my adult life, and I'm not a stupid man. If I can get $40, why would I charge $20?
Yeah.
There's going to be a lot of people that are going to pay it, but those people are not the people in general that I believe are the true collectors. And that's, again, something we can, touch on. And I definitely want to get more on the, they're not going to sell, their prices aren't going to come down.
Yeah.
So on to the hostile takeover. I mean, perhaps this isn't the end of breaking, but it's the end of breaking as a job, as a way to pay your bills for most people, because of the prices are going to go up. Those guys are not going to have their good old boy system with the distributors. So that's something else that's going to go away. They want to get into grading. I'm sorry, them grading the cards that they're producing, that's a conflict of interest.
I thought the same thing.
I mean, I don't care if they buy HGA or any of these other companies. If they own them, it's still a conflict of interest. And there's no way that you will convince me otherwise.
No. Go back, and this was actually one thing I had too. Go back to the crap that Panini's deal with the fake relics. And was it Panini or Topps that had the fake autograph? Topps.
I mean, they both have. I mean, they've both had issues.
Okay, well, let's take that for instance. And I'm not saying they will, but if, let's say, Fanatics wanted to pull some shenanigans like that and just say, pull something off a shelf and just call it original, put it on a card and put it out. Well, if they grade it and they know what they've done, they're not going to say, this isn't real, I'm not grading this. Not like, and I know PSA's had their problems, but you know what I'm saying? PSA doesn't have a stake in Topps or Panini.
Correct.
What exactly. PSA does with anybody else is it's on them, but it's not in-house. It's not like you said, a conflict of interest.
They want to make a marketplace. They want to do everything
right
for the collector. So why are you going to grade your own cards at a lower grade, knowing that person's going to turn around and sell them on your website to where you're going to get a given percentage? Well, right. You're going to get more percentage out of a 9 than an 8, out of a 10 than a 9. And let's be honest, how much difference is there between a damn 10 and an 8 when you look at cards? Can you definitely can barely tell a 10 and a 9, most people. Maybe you can tell between a 10 and an 8. So, again, conflict of interest. I hope that, there are some antitrust issues that happen here with the combination of trying to do all of this, getting multiple sports under one banner. I don't know that it's going to happen, but it's what I could hope. And then the last thing I just want to say on this, and then I'll go ahead and let you go ahead and do your thing. Sports Card Radio posted a video on YouTube, about 5 o'clock my time, so just within the last couple hours. And like I said, those guys have basically said what was going to happen with this. And they basically said it straight out. Fanatics does not want your sports card business to exist anymore.
Mm-hmm.
They want to kill it. And I don't know that you're going to be able to convince me otherwise, especially based on what we know now. Again, time will tell.
Yep.
I'm just going to leave that little nugget of 1/1,000,000 of 1%. But really, they're trying to basically, like I said, kill the middleman, kill everybody. They want to be making all the profits. Nobody else is allowed to make money.
That's exactly what I was going to say. They're not wanting a piece of the pie.
Yeah,
they're wanting the whole pie.
Mm-hmm.
And that's obvious because, like you said, they're stepping into not only manufacturing the cards, but they want to sell them direct to consumer, which means they're going to get everything that can be got out of selling the box or the case or whatever. They want to grade them. They want to hold on to them and resell them for you so they can take another cut out of that. And that was obvious from the get-go because they made a deal with the Players Association where players are going to get a percentage of resales in the secondary market.
Because they don't make enough money already.
Okay.
All right. So let's go on. Okay. So I've done my first talking point, and I give you the floor.
Nope. Well, I want to go back to, and Bo is saying that, all right, let me put it back up here. Prices will stay the same. Fanatics may make more money. Every car company should would do that if they had the means. And he's right in a sense.
Oh, I agree. I'm just saying there are people out there that think that prices are going to drop because these levels of middlemen have dropped. And like I said, if you believe that, you're dumber than a bag of hammers.
It may drop from, like, say, what mirror you would go on to Blowout or David Adams or something, or Steel City or any of those, because everybody knows how they operate. I know firsthand because last year, let's see, was it last? Yeah, last year, 2020, I bought 4 boxes of Topps Chrome when they first came out. And this was before everything skyrocketed, like, with COVID or whatever you want to base it on. But the price per box went up by, I think it was over $100. I can't remember what I bought it in for, but it went way up. My order got canceled. And then everything was reposted and boxes were double what they were when I pre-ordered.
Mm-hmm.
And stuff like that tells me, and it should tell anybody, that, distributors they're watching what's going on. They know what's going on. When the prices go up, they lose money. Well, they don't lose money because they're still getting it for what they're getting it for, but they lose getting the most that they can. Let's put it that way. And I know that I've also bought stuff from, like, say, Blowout at one price, and it dropped by $40 before it's released. I don't get reimbursed for that. So why cancel my order because the price went up?
Well, and I mean, you're talking about Blowout and even Adams, and I think in a lot of ways people consider them more hobby shops, but they're really just distributors, and they're pulling the same bullshit that I mentioned earlier with the other distributors. And yeah, it's all absolute horse shit. And that's why I don't feel badly for those levels of people in that make some money off of stuff, because they're literally price gougers. I mean, they're snake oil salesmen.
Okay.
And you've just put great examples of you dealing with it yourself.
Mhm.
It's always different when you hear it from, I kind of said something about it before, but it's different when I'm just saying it. And then when you say it, it's a little, because people know you and people like you. So it's a little, you know what I mean? It has a little more impact.
Right. Well, I mean,
Or it should.
I'm just it's my opinion. All right, let's see. Bo had another one here that I wanted to put up because you kind of touched on it. Here it is. So and his question was, why do they want to kill it? Well, I guess the hobby is what he's saying, after investing hundreds of millions of dollars into it.
They don't want to kill it, but I can touch that. Yeah, they want to kill that. They don't care about the collectors. They want all these new sneaker flip dickheads,
investors
that are going to do all this stuff online. And that goes back to somebody else had asked. Oh, it was Ed had asked. Not sure how they'll get a cut of secondary market once cards are in the hands of collectors. The thing is, I don't think the collectors are going to. I do think a lot of collectors are going to be turned off by this, and the majority of people are going to be keeping that stuff online. They're going to buy it online, have somebody open it. Oh, hey, look, I pulled a whatever, the hottest rookie. I'm going to send it over to grade it, and then I'm going to sell it on the website. In a lot of ways, like ePack, I guess, where you don't necessarily have to touch the cards to make money on them. So that's the people that they're appealing to. And I can go to my third point, concerns with Michael Rubin's vision. Overall, I heard him, I want to say it might have been when on the interview with Beckett from last week. He was in Las Vegas, the summit. Maybe it was somewhere else. Maybe it was on Crossover by Card Ladder and House of Jordans. But he talked about himself as a collector, mostly investing, flipping, mostly basketball and football. And this guy is going to be the face of this and have a lot of input. Could his vision of the hobby and how he hobbies overall be clouded, or could his effect on the overall hobby be clouded by his frame of reference, by what he wants to do? Because that's the way he wants this hobby to go, and it's the way that he's convinced Fanatics and whoever he reports to, stockholders, board, CEO, that this is how we're going to make the most money. Because we're going to, like I said, sell it, rip it, grade it, and then sell it all online. And this guy doesn't have to touch it. And if he does want to touch it, we're going to charge outrageous shipping fees to you.
Well,
we're going to charge $1 a card to ship to you or something like that.
He wants to sell it, and then he wants to resell it.
Yeah, and every time he's taking
essentially he
5%.
Wants to put Topspin and Panini out of business. He wants to put eBay out of business, which he's not going to do. He wants to put ComC out of business because he wants to have his own vault, store the cards, and resell like ComC. And I mean, I know everybody has their opinion about PWCC, but that's what he's wanting to do. And like you said, keeping everything in house, I get the vault and resell, but it all goes back to you want to grade your own cards without them ever leaving your hands.
Mm-hmm. And that's why, like I said, he said, how will we get a cut of the secondary market? Because whatever guy that ends up being a jabroni, but is the top prospect that you just graded and got a FGS Fanatics grading service 10 out of, well, you're going to flip it on the Fanatics marketplace to a guy that then wants to flip it to another guy who then holds it for three months, then flips it again, and every time Fanatics is getting 5%, 10%.
And Bo comes out with the WWE. Yeah.
Okay. See, and that's what I love about the chat. And I've talked about with you through text, Herman. I think that we interact with the guys in chat more than pretty much anybody else live. And it's funny. So what we talked about with me talking about the Michael Rubin and, you know, invest flipping, that be his way to hobby, and is that going to mess with it? The second concern I had about that, and I just had the question, does Michael Rubin become public enemy number one among the longtime true collectors? Not these sneaker dickheads. Fuck those guys.
Right.
But the guys like most of the guys that are in the chat here, is he going to become public enemy number one? Is he going to is somebody just going to walk up to him and punch him in the face at the National? I mean, there's some people that there's a couple people in the hobby that I would like to do that to right now that have, you know, high positions. I'm not just talking about everyday ordinary guys. Some of them, you know, might own companies like PWCC, but I'm not saying that. I'm just saying they might. But yeah, definitely the Vince McMahon of it. It's funny, but I mean, I'm not going to say no. It's a very good comparison.
Yep. And I want to get back to this because Mark Hoyle and somebody else had made this comment earlier. And it's 100% true that I can't even find it now, but basically Mark said that here it is. It's not going to affect the way that he collects. You know, most everything on my saved searches is 50 plus years. Anybody that deals in vintage, like Mark does, and here it is, Victor. It's the same thing. It's not going to affect the way he collects. And I'm assuming he does, you know, vintage. I agree with that to a certain extent. They're right because, you know, if you collect vintage, you're not worried about what Fanatics puts out. You're not worried about what comes out next year because you're collecting pre-war or, you know, maybe a little sooner. But in a way, it kind of is going to affect the way you collect. And the reason why I say that, you know, don't like jump on me. Don't jump on me yet because let me finish. But there's a lot of people like myself, and I'll segue into this because this is kind of what I've been thinking. It's gonna affect the way you collect because you're gonna have a lot of collectors like myself that is once there's no longer Topps cards, I'm done with anything that comes out.
You're going to go backwards and collect. You're not going to go forward and collect.
I'm stopping at 2026 and going backwards.
And that's one point of view. And like I said, too, the thing is, I agree with 100% what you said and that you're going to collect backwards. But even if it doesn't affect me, even take that out of it, it affects my hobby friends. It affects guys like you, Herm.
All right.
It affects guys that will get there, you know, like Ben, our trading cards, that wants to get his A's team set every year. It affects Big Shep. It affects it affects Diego and his Phillies, Bo and his Cubs, and go on and so on and so forth.
Right.
So that's why I am as passionate as I am about it. It might not be that it affects me as much. I do agree that I do think you're going to slowly see prices creep up because there's going to be more demand than there was before.
Right.
But I did want to point that out and say, even I collect that way as well. My concern, believe it or not, even though a lot of people think I'm an asshole, I actually do have a conscience, and I do have people that I care about, and I don't want to see this hobby ruined for my hobby friends.
Right.
And those guys get pushed out. I don't think the Fanatics wants the company to fail. They don't want the hobby to fail. No. They just don't care about guys like us. They care about the flip vesters because that's where they're going to make most of their money.
Yep. And everything he said in that interview was basically is he wants people like you said, or like you call them, I guess you coined them, the flip vesters. They want people that's going to buy the card, start with them because they don't want the card. They want to find the next guy that's willing to pay more than they paid for it and move it to them. They don't want it in their house. Mm-hmm. Like I want my stuff in my house. I want it on my shelf. I want it in my, I want it here with me. My thing is, like I said, if there's not a top set being printed, I'm not building a set. Tops is the only set I have ever built from basically the time I've been collecting. I know I got out of it for a while. I lost my collection. I started back. But when I started back, I collect top sets. Now, I do have a player PC, which that'll be something I'll have to look into when the time comes. But if there's still cards being printed of Dale Murphy and Freddie Freeman, I will want those cards. But I'm not buying boxes. I'm buying singles. And that's where it comes into cutting out the middleman. Like he claims that eBay is a demon because by the time it hits eBay, it's going through 3 hands. The manufacturer, the distributor, the reseller, the hobby shop, and then the individual actually open the pack and put it on eBay. Okay, well, that's fine. But if I only want this card, to me, if it may be already priced up 4 or 5x from what it should have been, but if I can buy it at 4 or 5x on eBay cheaper than I can buy the pack and try to find that card at the odds that that it's actually in there, it's worth that to me. So why do you want to cut that out?
Because you're not who he's appealing to.
Nope.
You're just the collector. And that's exactly why. No, yeah, this is great to have this conversation, and we kind of get to, build off of what each other says. And, sometimes it gets boring if you have the same opinions, but sometimes it's good. So can I go to my?
Well, I mean, we have the same opinion, but we're kind of looking at it for different reasons. So, but yeah.
Well, you have more of the thought. I feel bad for my set building, player collecting friends of modern cards, and you're one of those. I don't think that way anymore because I don't really collect that way. So you're able to add on and give insights and thoughts that I don't have, and vice versa. So can I go on to, do you have anything else you want to do on this one? Or, okay, so here's my ESPN hot take. Michael Rubin is full of shit. All right. So he acts like Fanatics is doing all of us collectors, again, collectors versus flip festers. He acts like he's doing us all a favor and saving us from existing model. There's a lot of bad existing model. We've talked about the distributors. There's a lot of bad. But all of this, he literally thinks, or at least talks, and I guess he has to because he's employed by them, but he makes it sound like they think they are legitimately saving us from the doldrums of the current model. Again, no matter what happens, we're always going to have bitches and gripes. But I don't see this as an improvement. On that CNBC interview that you played, claimed the league wanted a better experience for their end consumers. Bullshit. They give 0 fucks about us. 0 fucks. They just want more money because obviously, as I said earlier, they're not making enough money with all their contracts and everything they have. And they're not taking enough money from the fans and collectors already. So I call bullshit on that. I am not ignorant enough to think that the hobby has not been a business for decades. It absolutely has. Many people have made their livings off of that, and that makes it a business. But now it's going to a different level. It's going to big business, corporate, stock market, shareholders. It's big business and things are changing. And I'm not forecasting the hobby because it's going to be there. I'm not saying that the people at Fanatics are stupid by any stretch of the imagination. In fact, they're pretty smart, in my opinion. But many of the true collectors, I think, are going to be negatively affected. And they continue to act like it's this great service. Well, it is for a segment of the hobby. And maybe even the majority of the hobby. And I know that their job is to make money. I completely get that. But going back to where we said that, maybe retail price or maybe prices of unopened will drop. What they pay like 10 times the existing whatever. They got to make that money somewhere, and they're beholden to their shareholders, their board, their CEOs, and they are going to suck every dime they can out of you. Things are changing, and for a lot of us, not for the better. Michael Rubin is full of shit. Stop acting like you're doing us a damn favor.
Mm-hmm.
You're a leech. Your company is a leech.
Yeah, it's like it was said earlier when we first came on. I mean, it's a power grab. It's a money grab. It's like you say, wanting to control everything and get basically 100% of the profit from all of it. And like I said, the LCSs will probably suffer the most unless, like you said, they honor what distributors have with like longtime customers and people that is bought out or bought into what's been put out. But I don't think that's going to be the case because, like we said earlier, Fanatics has their own their distribution ways of doing anything. Anything that sells a Fanatic product basically is directly involved with Fanatics. There's no outside companies. There's no buying wholesale from Fanatics in any way. I think the video that you was talking about earlier, he talked about that. You cannot get a wholesale account with Fanatics unless you're directly involved with Fanatics. So that's the LCS is basically going to have to get their stuff the way me or you would or anybody. They're going to have to go online. They're going to have to buy it direct to consumer. But I don't think there's going to be like 9 or 10 cases bought at one time, which is going to affect LCS's big breakers. People like Brett and Becca. I think Mark mentioned that earlier. I mean, he got screwed. Look how much he opened. Look how much he opened every year, and just from whatever distributor he was using, I'm not sure which one it was. He got shut out. He couldn't get no more than me and you could.
And all those years, he bought all that shit product that they basically shoved down his throat or said, sorry, I'm going to buy this, or we're going to cut you 50% on the good stuff, whatever the good stuff, whatever the stuff he wanted was.
Right. Yeah. But, all right, is Fanatics going to do the same thing? Or is Fanatics going to enable Brett Williams to come back into business and do what he was doing earlier? I doubt it.
Because I think the Breakers days are done. I mean, the hope he has is, that he can do that. And maybe it is a slot, there is some possibility because keeping much of that stuff, and they're appealing to those flip vesters, and that stuff there is never getting actually shipped out to people. Well, maybe he's able to get his hands on some of that now, albeit at a higher price, turn around, sell it on eBay to the people that aren't buying on Fanatics. I don't know, just throwing some spaghetti on the wall and seeing if it sticks. But I doubt it. Seriously, no. I'm not. I was using Brent as an example of how I have no sympathy for distributors and their ilk. I mean, I agree with what Bo's saying right there.
Yeah,
has a better chance on Fanatic current up, or unless we see a significant slowdown in the hobby. But then at that point, do you even want to go back to it?
Yeah, and with that being said, I mean, is somebody like Brett that's willing to buy? I've heard him mention that he's bought upwards of 10 to 20 cases at a time.
Mm-hmm.
Does he get it for the same price as me and you? Or does he, what I'm saying is, and that's a lot of that is unknown. I mean, we don't know that yet because that hadn't been said. We know kind of what they're after, but we don't know how they're going to set up with people like him or people like longtime LCSs that's been around. I mean, some LCSs have been around for 40 years, 30 years. Yeah. but you know, they went through the junk wax era. They weathered through it and through the down times and come back into like years like we had last year and probably made a dollar or two. You know, are they going to get a cut of the? I want to say a cut, but are they going to get a break, or are they going to pay the same thing that everybody else does?
I mean, what would be the incentive to give them breaks unless it's literally, oh, well, if you buy 10 cases, we're going to give you 10% off. You know, that you and I aren't going to buy 10 cases. I mean, I just don't see positives coming out of this for, and I'm not going to use the word any, but I'm going to use the word almost all collectors, middlemen, people that try to make their living and pay their bills off of sports cards, because Fanatics is going to take it all and the prices are not going to go down. And that's, I mean, it's my 2 cents, and take it for what it's worth.
Yeah. 2 cents. That and $1 buy you a Coke. There's some people.
I know Brad said something like that. And by the way, when I was getting smart with Brad,
he says
earlier,
that and $2, and you know what? If that and $2 buys a Coke in Texas, I'm not going to Texas because y'all's prices are high.
It's all right. We don't want you here anyway.
I've been there one time and I got out as quick as I could.
Well, you got to come in for the Dallas show. But by the way, you know, and I know Brad knows this, but I am just kidding with Brad when I tell him to go do things to himself. It's all in love.
I'm not.
Well, that's okay. That's you. So did you have more talking points still? I've got 2 more things full of bullet points, and we're an hour in, and that's what I was saying to Dan. You know, Herman and I had talked about, you know, this might be a little bit of a longer show. And here's the thing: we get fired up, but it's because we're passionate and because we do love the hobby. People like to tell me that people like to criticize me for being negative, but that's because I love the hobby. And when I see bullshit, I'm going to call it out. I am saying things that I think are in the best interest of most collectors. Okay, sorry.
No, well, and to kind of go back on one thing, and this will be brief, but you know, we were talking about how he wanted to limit. Basically, he wanted to just kind of cut out a lot of the BS and have everything in one place. And we were talking about how that's going to affect card shops. Personally, I like walking into a card shop, and you know, even if I don't buy anything, the looking. 9 times out of 10, if I do go in, I will buy something. It may not be much, but you know, and for somebody like me that I went for years and didn't have one, and just recently had one open up about 3 or 4 months ago. I mean, I don't want to see him go under because now he can't get anything. He's already struggling to get what he gets, but now he's not getting anything, and you know, if he shuts down, I don't have that experience. Yeah, I've got to go to Fanatics.com and get whatever I'm gonna get.
I mean, I'm fortunate enough to live in an area. Now I say an area because like going to the Dallas show, going up to where Rich is, Rich and I are in the same area, and we're fortunate enough to have at least a half dozen card shops in the area. But now that being said, a lot of those card shops are up in Rich's area, which is 45 minutes to an hour for me. I am blessed to have that Wednesday through Sunday, I can drive 15 minutes over near Cowboy Stadium and I can get supplies if I need them. I don't have to pay for those supplies, I don't have to wait for those supplies. I don't have to pay shipping. I don't have to pay markups. And these little things are going to add up. I don't buy a lot of singles at card shops because I think that card shops perpetually overprice their singles. And that's obvious by most card shops you walk into, and you walk in a week later and it's the same singles. But I don't even know what my point was. But yeah, those little benefits go away. The ability to go into your card shop and just bullshit with some other collectors for an hour, that's gone unless you have a card show. Hell, that's something I never even thought of until just now. Well, if we're going to do everything online, there ain't going to be no damn card shows no more.
Oh,
I'm exaggerating. Obviously, there will be. But, you know, I've been excited, you know, by more card shows around the country. we actually have less here than we had when I moved here. But around the country, there are more of them, more opportunities for more collectors to get new collectors. But that's another thing. I mean, I guess Michael Rubin probably wants to kill card shows too.
No. Yeah, and your buddy, what is it? Is it Gary? Elbow
Yes.
Sausage? He had a good point here. Is Rich Klein's a legend, obviously. But he says, do you think Fanatics will have a better customer service? And you know, at that point, I'm not going to argue that point because I do believe they will. Because I know that for what they have now, as far as memorabilia and jerseys and all this stuff, their customer service is pretty good from what I've saw and what I've heard and read. Their customer service is there. Whether or not they'll be able to, they'll obviously have to hire on more people to handle the sports card part of it. But that part of it will be better for those that we hope. We hope if it stays like it is now.
It is funny that he does that because one of the questions that I posted, and it wasn't one of the poll questions, but it was the open-ended question, is what would you like to see them do better? And with all the replies we got, I was surprised that I only saw one other person that said customer service, and that was my first thing. Interactions online, even just being able to get a hold of somebody. I can't tell you how many people I've messaged, emailed, that work at Panini, and I can't get a damn reply. And in a lot of ways, I have to say I don't feel very sympathetic for a lot of those folks if they're losing their jobs either. I'm just going to throw that out there because if you can't provide customer service, that's what I think. I've got somebody at Panini that I messaged a while back, and he said, yeah, I'll look into your redemptions. Let me know. I have messaged him twice since and got no reply, and we're going on, I want to say, about a year. Probably.
All right.
So
since you brought that up, man, this is it. Bam, right here. And your question was, what is the one thing that current card manufacturers are poor at that you'd like to see Fanatics do a better job of? And there were a lot of responses. And I'm trying to get down to, it was at Card Finders on Twitter, says customer service, customer service, customer service. Oops, that's three things. Well, you get the general idea.
Okay, I missed that one. So at least two people have mentioned customer service.
And
I was trying to say one because I wanted the most important thing, which obviously to the individual collectors, obviously his, based on saying it three times, was customer service, and that's my number one thing.
And a lot of people had this gripe for this year that Uncle Rich had posted is, you know, being able to read players' names and card numbers.
Mm-hmm.
That can be construed as one or two things, but he's right. I mean, this year they brought the white borders back, but the print was god awful.
Agreed. Terrible. Gypsy Queen is horrible almost every year. As far as trying to find the numbers on the back, they're in bad places when they're they're 2/3 of the way down in the middle, and you're trying to collate sets or just put cards, collate cards in general. Horrible place. They need to be up in that top corner. Sorry, not sorry.
I love Gypsy Queen, but like you said, they're finding the numbers on their cards sometimes is small. It's you know,
small and awful places too.
I can't remember who said it, but somebody had made the point that, like, with the way the cards were printed this year off tops, for somebody that wears glasses, that needs glasses, that it can be hard to read the names. And they're right. It was awful.
I wear glasses, and to collate, I have to take my glasses off because I need to get bifocals. But I have to take my glasses off, read typically, or do that.
That's what I have to have on some of them.
I want to say one thing real quick because I was gonna kind of joke about it later. Dan, Korean Card Bass, will Fanatics keep redemptions? What I am super excited about, this is the one thing I'm really excited about with Fanatics, is when I open that pack of cards and instead of getting my autograph or memorabilia, I get a 10% off at Fanatics.com off of any jersey. I'm so excited for that coupon. And if that happens, y'all know you heard it here first.
Right.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I agree, Bo. Tops, Panini is horrible. Panini customer service blocked me. And look, I know I'm abrasive and I know I will cuss, but I don't believe I have ever been belligerent at customer service people because they're just doing a job. But I'm blocked by Panini customer service. So now I'm just talking to myself. Tracy Hackler can be on every damn web show podcast. So can other people at Panini, but boy, they won't answer tough questions. They won't reply to you. It's nothing but a bunch of damn crickets. So yeah, I hope Fanatics does better at that. Steps off soapbox.
That's the one thing I've noticed. I mean, it wouldn't take much for customer service to get better.
Mm-hmm.
But don't
to at least acknowledge that we exist and we spend money on with their company.
Yeah.
To say, hey, let me look into that. Good point, etc. All right. Yeah. Where are we at? You ready for me? You ready for more Bean banner?
Yeah. The only other thing that I had wrote down was where he had said that, and I think this was like right at the beginning of the interview where he said he had a complete different vision of where the trading card industry was going.
And what has it been more focused on? It has been more focused on collectors until recently.
Yeah, well, yeah, until
read between the lines yourself on that one. He wants it to be a big business. He wants it to make money on everything. Stockholders in his company, making them happy. Like I said, he's full of shit. He can sit here and talk about it's for the collectors all he wants. He's full of shit. I haven't heard one thing from them that benefits collectors. And if any true collectors can give me something, go ahead. Right. Let me know. Oh, Gary, this isn't angry. I've actually been pretty subdued. Call me. Don't call me angry.
I've actually watched one person on YouTube that it almost seemed like he was 100% behind Fanatics, the Fanatic buyout or takeover or whatever you want to call it.
Okay, and I got to ask, who is it? Who is it?
I will not say his name. I'll tell you after the show, but I'm not going to put his name on here. But if anybody
deserves that, if he thinks that, he deserves to have his name on here.
Listen, let me tell you what I got from what his points was.
I'm going to quit, Herman. I'm quitting right now.
That's fine. I'm going to keep going. But listen to his takes, and you tell me now. What he was excited about the whole Fanatics takeover thing was the fact that they were cutting out distributors. Okay. He was excited that people like Blowout and all these other places weren't going to be able to gouge on prices.
But Fanatics can.
Well, that was his point. And like I said, I'm not going to put a name out because I'm not going to. I kind of conversate with this. And if he watches this, he's going to know who I'm talking about. But I'm not going to.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. It's 15. Here it is. The dumbest fucking thing I'll hear today.
Uh-oh. What was that?
Oh, well, it's great because distributors are going to be cut out and they can't be sketchy.
Oh, yeah. He thought it was great that distributors are going to be cut out, that people like Blowout, that they hold stuff back until they see what the prices are going to do and then throw them out there at the top dollar, which is they're right. But I mean,
I agree. I agree. It's sketchy as hell. And as I've said a couple times, and I've said it, I have no sympathy for them because they're shady. But I'm just saying, to sit here and act like that, oh, this is all good because of that. That's one reason. That's only one reason.
Yeah.
We can come up with dozens, hundreds of potential bad.
What he didn't get to is when you get down to the bottom of the line, which would be me and you, how it benefits us. Yeah, I can get on Fanatics website and order a box directly from them and have it sent to me if the bots don't take over.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
yeah, I hadn't even thought about the bot aspect. I've seen it, but I hadn't even thought about it yet.
If if Tops and Walmart and Target can't keep the bots out, Fanatics is not going to.
But they can. They're the best. Just ask them.
Okay, well, what are they worth? what is their worth? Was it 18 billion?
Yeah, I don't know what the word is.
I mean, do you know what
I gotcha.
Walmart's worth is? You know what I'm saying? If Walmart,
No, yeah, absolutely.
if
What
they
makes you
can't
think you
keep
can do
bots
what everybody
out,
else
what
can?
makes you think that you can do it? Granted, he may put more interest in keeping them out than Walmart would. Walmart
let me throw this at you. He doesn't care who buys them as long as somebody buys them.
True.
Just throwing that out there.
Well, I mean, that's the way Target and Walmart are too.
Exactly. I mean, yeah, no, I don't disagree. So all I'm getting at is it's no better. And like you said, I have the standpoint of I am the low guy on this totem pole, and is shady as I say that the distributors are. Fanatics can do the same thing, and if I'm paying the same price, then I don't care the distributors got. If I'm going to have to pay the same price in Fanatics world, then I don't give a shit that the distributors are gone. No. It doesn't really matter to me.
I mean, I've never bought anything from a distributor, so maybe, maybe if the places that I buy my stuff from can get it straight from Fanatics, and maybe it saves me $1 or $2. I don't know.
$1. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, going back to all other things, once the hobby itself, which again has been taken over, and a lot of the percentage of flip vestors has grown. Once you've shown that those people are willing to pay X price, why would you retail your stuff at 75% of X price? But that's not a smart business move. I'm looking from a collector.
A couple of ways it's not going to go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I mean, I understand business. I've worked corporate retail. I work corporate retail. I worked for Lids for 13 years. You know who owns Lids now?
Fanatics.
You know what company people I worked with and worked for that left Lids? You know where they went?
Fanatics.
I mean, I know at least there were 3, and now I know at least one guy that I kind of worked with. He was at my level then, and then somebody that I worked under a couple of tiers. He's over at Fanatics. I guess that if I apply for with Fanatics now, I'm probably not gonna get it.
Yeah. I'm kind of over this.
Okay, I got more points then. I'm just gonna
go ahead.
I'll go over them quick, and you don't have to reply because I had 4 or 5 titles. I still haven't even touched 2 of them.
Go ahead.
Impact on collectors certainly sounds like it'll push out true long-time collectors. We've already addressed that. Someone said that Ruben mentioned, we haven't touched this, filter through junk to get to the good stuff. I don't know where that came from, and I'm taking this, at secondhand knowledge, but so what does that mean? All of our sets going forward are going to be 100 cards, and we're just going to have the top 100 players? We're just going to have the top 50 players? Or are we going to have the same guys? Are we going to have the same 3 Braves in every set like we have with all the high-end now? Because we don't want the junk. You know what? There are a lot of collectors, and there are a lot of collectors in this chat that are team collectors that like that junk. Reason number 42 that I've mentioned tonight, that they don't give a shit about true collector. And that's what I got. The CNBC, the conversation you played earlier, it was all the talk was about money. What talk was there about collectors? There was absolutely nothing. I am hard pressed to find any reason this isn't going to push out the true collectors. It's some level, many of them. I watched a video from Bench Clear Media. Ty, who is also Breaker Culture on Twitter, he made a great comment, and I'm paraphrasing this, and again, I'm crediting him this. There's no carrot being dangled by Fanatics in front of me that interests me, and nothing makes me feel excited for the Fanatics releases to get here. And then he later said, I want the other stuff to be here as long as, I want all of the other stuff to be here as long as possible. And I have a hard time believing that much of anyone has found anything that is a true collector, that's not a flip investor. There's nothing that they've said. And I know that it's 5 years away, potentially, but it's probably sooner than that. But you would think that at least they could put out some positive stuff, that's something to look forward to. They think that them owning everything is positive, and I don't think that many people do that. And then the short-term impact of the current companies not caring. They already didn't care about customer service and responding. They don't care about filling redemptions. They won't reply to you. Panini, apparently everywhere at the summit and just everywhere, they're just pushing MMA stuff now. That's their focus now. That indicates much less focus or care they have about basketball, football, which I understand because that's going away. But that's could cause, short term, as long as they're in the game, issues for collectors. Then the last thing I had was just talking about future impact. We talked about prices are not coming down a bunch of times. No, you know what? I already mentioned all that throughout our conversation, and I just want to reiterate, I can't wait to open a new pack and get my Fanatics bucks where I can get 10% off of a jersey because I'm a grown-ass man and I don't want jersey anymore. But anyway, that is what I have.
Oh, God. I wish I could find this. I shared this on a hobby roundtable. And I can't find it.
And we still got polls to show.
Oh, God, we do, don't we?
We can do that quickly.
We just completely shot over that. All right, let me shut this down because this didn't matter.
You got the one question. The other three were polls, and basically, I think we're probably both going to have the same answer on all three of them. But, hopefully some of you got in there and voted on Twitter.
We'll go through this real quick. And I appreciate everybody that, let's see. All right, we got that one.
Hey. We have lost Herman. Thanks to everyone for all the comments. I didn't get to read all the comments. We obviously didn't get to reply, but we do try to do a great job of that. Love having y'all live. If you can't see us live, I appreciate you watching later on. But yeah, we really do try to, as much as we can, talk with y'all, and I appreciate y'all hanging in. I know some of you want us to go longer or want us to be different hours. So it is what it is. And I want to say, congratulations, Bo, for moving on to something that, you love. Super proud of you. We'll support you any way I can. I'm excited to hear you going live. I don't know if you mean you're going to go live 7 days a week, but 5. One thing question I did have for you, Bo, since I'm having to ad lib, is, and I think I asked it today on one of your videos, but I'm interested to know how card shows play into what you're doing. Do you plan on trying to do more, do less, maybe just do your show? I'd definitely be interested to know how you feel about that. And I did have another question, and I just can't remember what it was. At some point, we'll ask it of you, and I return the floor to Herman.
I don't even know what was going on. I don't even know what happened.
That's all good. Except that everybody had to see my face and, larger. My head's already large enough. Puppy.
Okay. Now, here we go. Yeah. All right. Share. Yeah, my computer is being stupid tonight for some reason. I think I told you that earlier.
Yeah, you did mention that it was struggling. Thanks for hanging in, everyone, with us for an hour and a half. Yeah, I'm with you, Rich. Yeah, they go a little too long for me sometimes.
We kind of knew going into this, and I think you had said it that it will go more than an hour. So
and let's be honest, we didn't really even start touching on our topic until 25 minutes in. I don't think.
Right.
So if we just cut out everything before, we'd be right about at an hour. All right.
Here we go. So the first one was, wait, you go ahead and read it. It was your poll. So
I got to say it here. Many have predicted that. Oh, we talked about this. Many have predicted, and maybe I should have just said stated, that they think Fanatics cutting out the middleman by doing that product prices will drop. Do you believe that they will? Comments welcome. What's that say about 82, 83%?
They said
No.
17% said yes, and 82% said no.
So yeah, really seems like people have a lot of faith in that. Again, I'm not going to sit here and say that I've heard a majority of people saying that, but I've heard it more than once or twice. So
well, one of the first comments was, that Fanatics has a bunch of investors, which they just announced that they had a investment of 10 point something million or billion or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I can't remember, by 3 different investment groups.
Yeah, and they've got
they're expecting a return on their investment. So I mean, that's got to come from somewhere.
And that's the difference. That's the difference where I said the game has changed and it's become big business, because they have to, pay out those dividends. They have to now pay this CEO this huge amount of money, and they're paying whatever it was, 10 times the going rate for the baseball contract, I think, or something like that. Whatever it was, they got to make this money somewhere. Where's that money going to come from?
Yep.
And, it's coming from us.
Vosbrink says that he expected, excuse me, he expects enough of a drop to hose the resellers and distributors and tempt people to give them a shot.
Maybe. But again, what they just want to price it at the price that they're getting the most of the money. Right. Yeah, they don't want to drop. They may drop it a little, but even by having it higher, you're still discouraging the flip vestors. So why drop it another $20? You want to get as much as you can out of it. That's right. Business.
Well, what about this one here? It says by the time Fanatics takes over in 5 years, the flip vestor cycle will have run its course and prices will return to normal for most products.
Will it? I mean, if they see all this writing on the wall and are reading it the way that a lot of us seem to be reading it, why would they go anywhere? Things are just starting to get good for them.
And then some just said point blank no. And, some will say prices will drop, but it won't have any relationship with Fanatics.
They just think we're in a bubble and things are going to drop. And maybe. So, hey, I hope so. I saw somebody say on a thing the other day that they like down markets. Collectors should like down markets, because you can get more stuff for your money.
All right. Did you see that one?
I don't see anything.
Okay, it didn't show up.
Wah, wah.
Wah, wah, wah. I mean, we're just now trying to get back used to this, so there it is.
I don't know StreamYard at all, so you are definitely the expert, sir.
No expert, but here it is right here.
All right. Michael Rubin stated Fanatics is looking to make a better customer experience. Do you believe they truly care about collectors? Comments welcome. So now we're even bigger. So we're at 84.2% no. Am I reading that right?
Yep. 84.2% said no, and 15.8% said yes.
So it seems like the collectors were the ones answering the poll questions, because they seem to have the same thoughts that we have.
And some of the comments, one from at 2 Heck and Cap, the only customer experience he cares about is the experience of squeezing every last penny from the collectors.
Yep.
And Ed at Sport Cards Rhode Island, RI, says they only care about the interest of shareholders and the bottom line. Collectors are just a source of revenue to be bled of every last penny.
Yep.
Muscle Beach says, I voted yes because I believe they truly think they care about collectors.
That's
okay. Unfortunately, when it comes down to it, I think they're going to realize that they only really care about profit, and customers are the means to the ends. And I mean, which might be different. I mean, basically, that's investors.
Yeah, I mean, and you can say that, they can say that they think you think they'll eventually realize that, but a narcissist doesn't know he's a narcissist. Most people can't see the bullshit in themselves. They believe their own bullshit.
Yeah.
And then
And Nick Voss says voted no, but I've said before on here that the fact that Fanatics wants to have product for fans of all teams gives me hope that we'll see a more balanced release. That makes sense, I guess.
I mean, Matt has his thing. He has his, whatever it is, his hill he wants to die on. And he just wants lower price stuff. He just wants lower based, not full of inserts. And he replied to a lot of them. That's his thing. That's his hill. We all have our hills.
Yep. I ain't dying on a hill. Where'd you
I
go?
I agree. I would love to see a return of a total set or something that's not print to order, a Topps total that's released in packs, and maybe you get the one parallel or something, but
Right.
I think there's a place for that. Absolutely. Again, I'm not saying that any of the current existing companies, I'm not acting like any of those are anywhere close to perfect.
Right. All right, and the last one, and this was probably my favorite one of all of them.
You're welcome.
All
right.
No, that's not it. Is that it?
No, that's the one we just hit on.
Let me shut that one out.
That was customer experience. I can't even remember what the third one was.
I got it. I didn't separate it. Here we go.
You gotta keep them separated. Sorry.
It says, after the news of the interviews by Michael Rubin this week, how do you feel about the Fanatics and will change the hobby? Comments welcome. Is that up where you can see it?
So I had the answers as optimistic, pessimistic, unsure, and I don't remember what the last one was. I can't really
Indefinite.
Indifferent. Yeah, like you just really don't. Yeah, just like you really don't care. So obviously, pessimistic was the winner again.
Yep.
I mean, the percentages are a little off because the other questions were only 2 answers and this one was 4.
Yeah,
and I gave. I mean, I would say I'm unsure in general, but definitely probably more pessimistic than unsure. I hope that a lot of these things I've said tonight are wrong. I truly do. I would be happy to be wrong on pretty much everything I said tonight, but I don't believe I am.
Yeah, and I'm the same way. But and my thing is, and it goes back to the way I collect. When it comes to like my team sets and just sets in general, I truly believe that after 2026, I'll be done.
Maybe there's still going to be Topps cards.
I doubt it. Not the way they're talking. If they're trying to keep as much of it in house as they say they are, they're not going to divvy out licensing to Topps and Panini and whoever else that wants to get involved.
But what if they can pay, whatever they pay, whatever amount, but it actually saves them money because they're now not paying the payroll for all of those people. So I'm just saying there is a glimmer. And I would like to think that they are not blind enough to think that it's not important, because I do believe, especially Topps and baseball.
Yeah.
And you're talking to a guy that has next to zero interest in baseball.
Right.
But I understand the importance and the correlation and how many fans of baseball cards and baseball feel about Topps.
Yep. And Dan brings up a good point, and this came up in the last Hobby Roundtable, which we did miss last month. But the way I've collected, I try to build a set. Since I've been back in, I've been trying to build a set of Topps for every year. But I definitely make sure that I have a set for all my kids, which I do have, and all my grandkids, which I do have. And Dad's like, make sure I don't have any more grandkids after 2025. That's something I have to think long and hard about, because if I'm still if I'm still around in 2025, which I'm only 49, I hope I am, and I'm still having grandkids, which I hope I am, I'll have to find something. I'll have to do for my first 5 grandkids and not do for the rest of them. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
if that has to be a Fanatics set, I may have to bite the bullet, but it's not something that I'll pursue. You know, as far as my team set binder, I'll consider it to be complete at 2025.
But if you're already buying boxes to make the grandkids sets, then you can take your spares and trade those on Trading Card Database for other Braves. How about that?
See, now you're trying to get into a dark subject.
I'm just saying, you're not giving Fanatics any extra money. You're just taking what you have.
And I can't just buy the set, because that was one of the things that I
exactly.
Because like, if they're going to get it, I mean, the sets aren't going to be worth anything.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know that. I mean, 30.
And that's why I said buy the boxes, because you and I had that discussion that, we'd had this discussion that you weren't going to just buy the set. You would put the set together.
Right. Because that's the whole point. It's something that, I would love to, if I know he didn't, but if my granddaddy had collected cards back in his day, if it was something that he put together himself by hand, I would appreciate that more, and I would enjoy that more than I would if he just bought it because it was the year I was born or whatever.
I agree.
So
I agree and understand completely. And I'm just playing hey, you're going to have some spare cards. So,
and I think that
trade them on the database.
I think Dan was the one that brought that up on Hobby Roundtable. So, and he brings it up again. So, build them. I'm trying to get mine done, George, much less somebody else's. He said build them all 72 sets. And I'm struggling to get mine done.
Hey, that's a topic for another show. Thanks. Thanks, George.
Write it down. All right. I think I'm done.
Am done. I am finally done talking, believe it or not.
All right. Well, for all y'all that hung in here for the hour and 40 minutes, we appreciate it. Once again, it's glad to be back, and we're going to try to just stay back.
Or to try. We got topics. We got topics. Hey, I'm adding another one right here. Put it on the spread. Put it on the spreadsheet.
Put it on the sheet. Sportflix. They are saying add the 88 tops, and George is saying Sportflix.
I love Sportflix.
All right, guys. Enjoyed it. Appreciate it. Give us a like and a comment. Help us out on the algorithm. We'd appreciate it. And join us back here next Monday at 8, and we'll try to be a little more positive. Maybe.
Not me. You know me. Y'all know me. I'm just a grumpy old man.
Yep. All right. Until
then. Bye.
Y'all take care.